Chordata. So, chordata. All chordata have characteristics which include a notochord, which is a rod-like support that may be replaced by a vertebral column. A hollow dorsal nerve cord persists through life and usually forms the brain at its large anterior end. Pharyngeal slit gill appears, but interstitial forms disappear in adult animals. Post-anal tail. Body extends past the anal opening. Can be ectothermic, cold-blooded, or endothermic, which is warm-blooded. Chordata. Bilateral symmetry with cephalization, triploblastic columate, through gut segmented. These are just things that's chordata show.
Mm.
Classification of chordata. There are three subphyla, where the first two are made up of a few primitive aquatic marine forms that have a vertebrae. So the three are subphylum Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. So, Urochordata. Tourniquets, for example, sea squirts, Cephalochord, which is lens or Amorphocusus, and Vertebrata includes fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals, which is most species and stuff.
Mm. Subphylum Urochordata. A sea squid's body is a sac shaped with a rubbery outer covering called a tunic. They feed on algae and bacteria by sucking water in through one siphon and squirting it out through a second one. Many of them have a larva that exhibits chordate characteristics, but as an adult, they lose their tail and nervous system and become sessile. Subphylum Cephalochordata. Small eel-like animals that is found in sand. All chordate characteristics present throughout their lives, fully developed brain and sense organs, and they have no true vertebrae.
Okay. Subphylum Vertebrata. 98% of chordates, so most of them, usually at the top of the food chain. The characteristics include endoskeleton, either cartilage and or bone, notochord that becomes incorporated into a vertebral column, either cartilaginous or bony vertebrae during embryonic development. They have two pairs of appendages which include fins or limbs, attached to girdles, and extracellular digestion in a complex digestive tract, and they have a closed circulatory system. Skipping that table.
Yeah.
So those are just questions. So human interaction with animals. Worms as endoparasites. Examples include roundworms, nematodes, ascarids, hookworms, pinworms, and whoopworms infect humans and are parasitic. Ascaris lumbricoids cause ascaris in humans, often endemic in communities with poor water supply and sanitation. Remember, endemic means they're only found in those areas and nowhere else.
Ascaris life cycle. So they start out as eggs. The eggs are swallowed. The eggs swallowed hatch. The eggs swallowed hatch inside the stomach or small intestine. Number 2, the larvae burrow through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream, which carries them to the lungs, where they grow for 9 to 15 days. They move to the throat, where they are swallowed for a second time. They are around 2 millimeters long. They mature and lay eggs in the intestine, anchoring themselves to the intestinal wall. The eggs pass out of the body with feces. So reproduction, uh, it is sexual. Male smaller with the bent tail to hold to the female during copulation. During copulation, spicules move out of the cloaca of the male and is inserted into the genital pore of the female. Then an amoeboid sperm crawl into the to the female. Then infection, ingesting contaminated water and food, contaminated soil, touching an open wound, unwashed hands passing from contaminated soil to mouth.
Figure symptoms include irritability, restlessness, and at night, erratic or appetite, constant fatigue, weight loss, and abdominal discomfort, diarrhea, fever, coughing, and wheezing. The fever can cause migration of worms to the mouth, nose, or anus. They can also migrate to the liver. So the effect on children. They deprive children of food, therefore causing them to show signs of malnutrition and fail to grow properly. They struggle to learn. Immune response is impaired. Of course, when they struggle to learn is because they can't focus, because, the symptoms. So, treatment. Prescribed drugs. For example, mebendazole, which kills the eggs and worms, and recovery is within a week. Prevention of infection. You need to wash your hands after using the toilet. Prevent flies from sitting on food, as they can be vectors. Wash, cook, or peel fruit and vegetables before eating them, and do not bite your nails. Prevention of the spread. Regular treatment of children in communities where roundworms are endemic.
Mm. Then the role of arthropods as vectors and ectoparasites. Arthropods that feed on blood are often vectors. For example, flies spread cholera, tsetse flies spread sleeping sickness, ticks spread tick bite fever, and mosquitoes spread malaria. So, what causes cholera? It is caused by ingesting a bacteria called Vibrio cholerae, which binds to the wall of the small intestine and rapidly divides. They then secrete a toxin that enters the intestinal cells, and this results in watery diarrhea, dehydration, and death. This also prevents water absorption into the blood, and the toxin causes ion imbalance.
Body via feces of an infected person. It is transmitted via the contaminated food or water. They spread rapidly in areas with inadequate treatment of sewage, drinking water, or in areas where personal hygiene is poor or where there are many flies. The housefly, Musca domestica, acts as a vector as it picks up the bacteria from feces and then carries them to food. If the food is eaten, the bacteria is ingested within the food. A single fly carries an average of 1,250,000 microorganisms, most of them being pathogenic. Tick spread tick bite fever. Bacterial disease transmitted by ticks, which are ectoparasitic arachnids. Symptoms of disease include fever, severe headache, rash, and may also have a black mark where the bite occurred. Treated with antibiotics such as doxycycline.
So, how is tick bite fever contracted? Bacteria belonging to the Rickettsial family are found in wild and domestic animals. The ticks become infected with this bacteria when they suck the blood of animals. These ticks then bite humans. The bacteria enters the wound in the human body via the saliva of the tick. The humans become infected, and this usually occurs in rural or wilderness areas. Tsetse flies spread sleeping sickness. Tsetse fly is a vector for a group of parasitic protozoans called trypanosomes. They're found in the blood of antelopes, hyenas, lions, sheep, and cattle. When the fly bites these animals, it becomes infected. When a person is then bitten, the trypanosome enters the bloodstream and causes sleeping sickness or human African trypanosomiasis.
So, sleeping sickness symptoms. The first symptoms is fever, headaches, joint pains, and itching, anemia, and swollen cervical glands, like in the picture. If left untreated, this can result in disorientation, poor coordination, and disrupted sleep cycle. The second phase is always fatal if left untreated. Role of invertebrates in agriculture and ecosystems. The role of insects as pollinators, the role of invertebrates decompose, decomposers in ecosystems, the role in earthworms play in the soil.
So, the role of insects as pollinators. Uh, Pollination is important for natural and agricultural ecosystems, and without them, it would crash. Pollinators also prevent self-pollination and therefore keeps plants genetically strong and productive. Many insects such as butterflies, moths, ants, flies, and beetles are pollinators. But bees are the most important. Bees spend most of their life collecting pollen, which is a source of protein that they feed to developing offspring. So crops pollinated by insects, you have fruit crops, vegetable crops, oilseed, nuts and spice, and coffee and cocoa.
Okay, so how is food crops pollinated? In the past, farmers depended on wild bees to pollinate the crops, but with the increasing size of fields slash orchards led to the need of for managed pollination. Pollination management is the process that involves beekeepers to become pollination contractors where they transport bees to monoculture areas. This should only be done after ensuring that a non-native bee introduction will not disrupt the ecosystem. Bee population is decreasing. Wild and managed bee populations have been decreasing. This might be because of monoculture, increased urban development, more pesticides, and increased number of pests and bee diseases. Pests. So, monoculture provides food only during flowering time. Bees rely on steady source of pollen to grow their population. Increased urban development. Uh, increasing urban development like destroys wild areas and reducing bees' natural habitats to and their food source. More pesticides. More pesticides results in killing the bees and thus causing a decrease in bee pollination. And of course, an increased number of hive pests and bee diseases.
Mm. So, how to improve the situation? Pollination management are becoming more important in horticulture. Horticulture. Other species of bees are being cultured, such as the mason bees, to meet agricultural demand. Pollinator friendly trees, shrubs, and native wildflowers are being planted near agriculture crops to attract wild pollinators. Areas with crops that flower in succession provide bees with continuous supply of pollen and nectar that will help them survive and prosper. The role of invertebrate decomposes in the ecosystem. Decomposition is the process by which the tissue of dead organisms break down into simpler forms of matter. This is essential for growth and development as it recycles important nutrients. Invertebrates are attracted by substances that is produced during the initial decomposing stage, bacteria and fungi. Flies, for example, lay their eggs in decaying bodies which hatch into maggots that feed on the flesh. Other invertebrates that are decomposers are beetles and their larvae, slugs, and worms. The decomposers provide food for themselves by and the nutrients that are released from the decomposing bodies are naturally recycled back into the soil.
Ever heard of robotic bees?
Barry.
That's an extra thing, by the way. It's been created by Harvard and MIT.
Mm,
It's like it's a robotic bee.
mm.
It's pretty cool. They should like put bombs in the bees and use them to like for war.
But it would do like
Anyways,
so little damage. What are you on about?
no, but like imagine 1,000 bees coming towards you. You know how difficult it's gonna be able to shoot those bees? Then they all like jump, like fly on you and explode your eyeball or something. I don't know. Pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
The role of earthworms in the soil. So improve nutrient availability, improve soil aeration and drainage, and improved soil structure. So improve nutrient availability. So earthworms feed on plant debris, detritus. They ingest the organic material along with soil particles, which is mixed with intestinal secretions and digest. The worms expel the digested food in the form of worm casts. These worm casts are rich in nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. In this way, humus is formed, rich in nutrients that are absorbed by the plants. Earthworms are known as derivative as they break down the improved soil aeration and drainage. Because earthworms extensively burrows, they loosen and aerate the soil and improve the drainage by creating passageways for air and water. They work as biological pistons, forcing air through the tunnels as they move. The tunnels also allow the roots to penetrate deeper in the soil so they can reach extra moisture and nutrients. Soil aeration is the process of creating openings in compacted soil to allow for better air, water, and nutrient circulation. So, before aeration, after aeration, healthier growth.
Okay. Improve soil structure. Earthworms bind soil particles together, creating a more stable soil structure and therefore improving the soil's ability to store moisture. Earthworm costs help to rebuild topsoil. All of these benefit plant growth as it improves their productivity and increases the carrying capacity of the area. So, sustainable use of. We don't have to know this stuff, right?
Nah, not still.
Show boss!
Sure, boss. Send the recording and send it to me.
Sir.